Okay, we are here with Mike Aiello for the opening premiere of the Universal Cinematic Celebration.
That's right, yes,
Florida.
Opening night.
What can you tell us of the challenges compared to, like, for example, designing this one compared to the previous one, Cinematic Spectacular?
I think the biggest challenge is actually where we're standing right now. Is was really trying to figure out how we could reconfigure Central Park to allow for the majority of the guests that experienced all of our other nighttime shows in the past to be able to be in one place to experience one show. And a show that they can see from the same perspective. Our creative literally started here. We really defining what was going to be our perspective on the lagoon, and are we willing to take the risk of only using half of our lagoon? Because that's unlike anything we've done before. And as we went through the creative process, knowing that we knew we could have fountains, we knew we wanted to increase the fountain number, but we also knew we had buildings as a backdrop. And actually, 2 nighttime shows ago, we did map projection on the buildings for the Universal 360 show. So that show had map projection, no fountains. Our last show had fountains with no map projection. So it really was building on our past, really trying to figure out what really worked in the past 2 iterations of our lagoon media-based shows, and what could we bring to the table into this one and really expand on and learn from some of the challenges we had on our past shows. And that is this show. Being able to combine fountains with a very wide media template. And also work with depth. We've got water screens that are actually forward of our main fountain media screens, and then our map projection on our buildings. How could we create moments and segments that had a fluidity to them that allowed us to complement the media that we were showing? And at the same time, again, back to square one, how can we ensure that every guest watching the show is going to see the same show?
Cool. And speaking of segments of the fluidity, obviously, this is a show about your day at Universal. Yeah. How hard was it? I'm sure some made the cut. How hard was it?
Oh, yeah.
Of certain things, we're like, I really want this, but I gotta cut it.
Yeah. Again, this show is a culmination of the guest day. Many of the brands and characters that call Universal Orlando home are going to be featured in this nighttime show. Fast and Furious, Kung Fu Panda, Wizarding World of Harry Potter, Transformers, Minions, all of it find a home in this show. And there's a lot of content to pull from the parks. Right. So it was a task to try and figure out, knowing we had just under 20 minutes. The show clocks in at like 19 and change. Knowing we had that much time, or that little time, to show everything, what are we going to pick? The one thing that stayed in the show the entire process is this one right here. I wanted E.T. in this show for 2 reasons. One, it is still, and I talked about this in the last show, it is my favorite film of all time. It was the first movie I ever saw as a kid. So I knew it needed a spot. And it is the oldest attraction we have here at the Studio Park. It's the one remaining attraction that's is combined in the first few years of this park's existence. Right. So it deserves a spot in this show, not only because it's E.T., but because we have such an awesome history with that attraction. And it is still one of my favorite attractions. It's still one of my favorite rides. In fact, a couple nights ago, me and the creative team, we rode it before the show one night, just to get it, just to ride it and come back and watch the show.
And avoid the rain too.
And avoid the rain. Yeah. We're looking good tonight. I'm really excited.
Thank you.
Yeah, right.
Well, speaking about the show in the future, did you leave it open for, like, you could easily interchange future things, and maybe holiday overlays rather?
The rule of thumb with our team and how we create is we want to make sure that we can utilize and capitalize on anything that we build in this park from a show standpoint. We want to ensure that this awesome collection of tech can be malleable, that we're able to affect change on it. I wouldn't say easily, because it's never easy, right? Yeah. But allow doorways to open to allow us to update the show when necessary. And the show's built that way as well. We've built it in segments on purpose to be able to shift and change as this park evolves and changes. Because that's one thing about Universal Orlando, especially over the last 10 years, it's just constant evolution. And the same can be said for this type of show. We want to make sure that we can stay current, that we can stay up to date, and give the best possible experience for the guests that are experiencing the show in that year.
Perfect. Joe?
So as far as overlays go and potential changes to the show in the future, one of the biggest stars in Universal Studios today is Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, right?
Yes.
We have Skyscraper that just came out in theaters this past week.
Yep.
Is there potential down the line maybe that we could see an entire cinematic celebration of the career at Universal Studios of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson?
Let me track with you here. What you're pitching me right now is a nighttime experience centered around Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, actor extraordinaire, wrestler extraordinaire, many WWE titles. So you're suggesting a nighttime show about the people's eyebrow?
Yes. I mean, when we look at his career at Universal, we've got Fast and Furious 5, 6, 7, and 8.
He was actually part of a prior attraction. Yep. Disaster.
Mother Nature.
Mother Nature.
We've also got The Rundown, which was a Universal film.
Yes.
Doom.
So many hits.
The Scorpion King.
Yes.
He had a cameo in Gem and the Hologram.
Listen. I think I'm going to call you. Don't call me. I'm going to call you. Okay. We're going to set up a meeting, and we're going to discuss what I believe will be Universal Orlando's The Rock. Nothing else. All you need is that.
That's it. I'm in.
That works.
I think it works.
That does work.
We're definitely going to get a retweet from him about this, I'm sure. That's going to be a go.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Mike. We appreciate it.